Hi everyone, welcome to my place and welcome to the sewing school and welcome to how to embellish. Today we're going to applique, but I just wanted to take you back to this little project I did not so long ago, and it was placing an iron-on transfer onto the face of some fabric, whether it be a frock, a cushion or whatever. This is a really easy process, these come in lots of different designs. I've only done this because I've got a wedding coming up and it's a Mexican themed, and I thought that would be quite nice. But so that's the iron-on transferring to embellish an outfit. This next thing I want to show you is how to, using one of these here, how to applique, which means to add on to something. I wanted to make some new cushions. So these are quite fantastic. I absolutely love them. And it's all done. You could, there's ways that you can photocopy and then iron on, or transfer using special paper onto different surfaces. But if you can't do that, you can actually buy these and check out places like Alibaba, etc., and AliExpress and Amazon, where they have all of these. Oops. What is that? Come off there. These lovely, lovely printed images. And what I love about them is they've already been embellished with some nice little wee beading, or, even if you wanted to, you could do your own. Now, to applique, it's very easy. There's one that I've actually done. I quite liked her. I thought she was quite beautiful. And then I've put some ribbon on with that as well, just to make sure that, just adding a wee bit. That's what applique is to me anyway. So get your fabric, whatever size cushion you're making or whatever you want to applique onto it, and it's best to do it at this. You can't do it once you've made your cushion for all the obvious reasons. It's about now that you need to have a very good eye and I would suggest that you got a ruler so that you could measure around, but I'm just going to cheat the system. So just placing that on top of your surface, or if you wanted to get it into the middle, putting it like that. And with this one here, I couldn't get it in the middle so that I had the same amount there and there because of the way that the lines were going, and I wasn't wasting fabric. And then I've just used, I used this ribbon that I just put down one side. So we may just have to do it so that it all matches up with where I'm going to be putting them into my home. So once you determine that that is absolutely in the middle, so I suggest that you, at this stage, make sure that it is straight. And the other thing that's really nice about this particular fabric is it actually doesn't fray because the edges have all been finished off. So from there, the next thing is to making sure that it is all straight, taking your pin and pinning this into shape, or on down, fixing that onto the top of your fabric. And we do not want any kind of crinkles in it. So see where I've got that little crinkle there? You don't want any of those. And then bringing that up to there, and then just smooth that out before you get any further. And then, because I like lots and lots of pins, I'm just going to take another one, roll the fabric round, or rotate the fabric around it, and then just do lots and lots of pins, because also this here's sort of like a little silk. It's the images on like a silk fabric, and the thing is that when you're stitching onto fabric like silk, once your needle hole goes into it, it stays there. So this is where you need to be very, very particular about making sure that it is all neat and tidy and on the properly placed down. Now you can hand sew that around if you wanted to, or you can go to your machine and putting that underneath there. And I'm going to start at one end. Now I'm using cream cotton because I want to show you how important it is that you make sure that when you're sewing that you know exactly where you're going with those scissors. My glasses go. Okay, so you're going to have to make sure that your stitching is absolutely even all the way around. So it's just a matter of putting your foot down, and don't backstitch at this stage because you'll make it too thick. But oops, what's happening here now? This is where you're going to have to be very careful about what you do. See how that's all starting to do that? Now let me just show you why that is happening. Onto here, where's my scissors? Onto here you can see that because I didn't have it flat and I didn't have the pin in, see how it's moved? That's why when you're stitching you make sure that that pin stays right there. The other thing, just as a little wee FYI for further notice, make sure that your needle is I would use a ballpoint needle, which is a fine needle which is made for sewing into knit fabrics, and you will make that way you will know that you have a really, really nice clean needle that goes into your fabric. So, and the other thing I wanted to show you is because I mucked it up, look what happens when I pull that out. You can see just in there, you can see those little threads. That's why you have to make sure that, one, your needle is sharp, and two, that it is fixed into place before you go, because it will run off the line and you'll see the wee threads after you've done it. So that's just that wee trap that I wanted to show you. I'll come back to that in a minute because I've actually got another way that I want to show you of fixing these on, but that might just have to wait for another day. But that's just a lesson in making sure that you pin and you go slowly and you make sure that all your threads run the same way. Now with this one here, which is one I've already done that, when I did my stitching, can you see that? Well, maybe you can't, but where I've sewn along here, I'll just bring this up to you. When I stitched across there, I used a needle that was quite blunt, and you can see how it sort of pulled the fabric there, as opposed to this line here where I used the ballpoint needle, and it was a brand new needle, and I used the smaller stitch to place that and to fix that in place. And if I turn it over here, you can see that all the stitches are even, as opposed to these ones along here. So one was a sharp needle and one wasn't. But as an exercise in how to applique, I thought that that was quite a nice thing to show you. The other thing is with when you're sewing, let me just hold this up here. When this side here I've done perfectly because I had it all going straight, because I didn't pin it properly. See what's happened? I've gone over the line. That annoys me like you could never believe. And I've also done the same over this side. So when you're appliquing, it has to actually look like it is part of the fabric. And I really love, the other thing is that this ribbon here is synthetic as opposed to this, which is canvas. So getting back to your ball needle, if you use that ball needle, you will get rid of, see all this bit here, how it's all sort of like puckered. The other thing is when you're sewing on your ribbon or whatever you're sewing, if you're sewing up this, don't make the mistake of, I'll just sew up there and then I'll go this side. You're best to go sew this side and then sew that side, so that where this is all started to pucker, when you sew down this way, that puckering line will go out. And when I said about don't do your back stitching, the reason I don't do back stitching is if you have got this sort of like that bubbling sort of like non-smooth surface, if you don't have your back stitching, what you can do is you can just take your hand along there and smooth that out like so. So there you have how to applique, and once you've done this you can put your backing on, and I've shown you how with cushions before. Just refer back to how to make a cushion. You put the top, your base cover, face to face, and then stitch it around. And then the next thing I want to show you is how to put a zip in or some kind of fastening, but that will do us for today because it's quite a bit involved in one of these. Don't be afraid, just give it a go, but just remember, pin, 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 sharp ballpoint needle, and slow. I hope I've been of assistance. I look forward to seeing you again another day.